is at the center of the energy transition, crucial to the production of batteries for electric cars. In this film, we'll take you on a journey from Chile to England to Norway to explore two massive questions hanging over this industry and everyone who invests in it. Can it increase production enough to meet surging global demand? And can it do so while minimizing negative social and environmental impacts?
Significa que también van a empezar a secarse esas napas y por tanto se van a secar los árboles y todo lo que significa el ecosistema en equilibrio.
SQM says that it has been careful to minimize the environmental impacts of its activities, and that studies carried out by its own experts and by outside academics show no grounds for concern about negative effects on local communities' water resources. But the company acknowledges that while it has been investing in studies on this question and providing data to outside researchers, there is a shortage of truly independent information. And for scientists like Mariana Cerveto, who has worked extensively on the Salar de Atacama, and who we met up with in Chile's capital of Santiago, without that independent data from the government or from other parties unaffiliated with the mining industry, put this matter to rest.
It's quite difficult to have objective information to understand if there is an impact or not. For example, in Salar de Atacama, the models for me are quite convincing, but I still have my small doubts, and to be able to solve these doubts, I don't have the information.
For investors in financial hubs like London, who are pumping billions into the supply chain for lithium and other critical minerals, concerns about sustainable production are high on the agenda.
If Tesla are to reach their target of producing 20 million electric vehicles a year by 2030, that alone would require almost 7 times the present total global annual supply of lithium. And that's before GM or Ford or VW or the Chinese, who will continue to produce 2/3 of the world's batteries and 2/3 of the world's electric vehicles and are growing quicker than us and have a 15-year head start in managing the supply chain. You know, there's no model or no scenario where these metals do not have to go up in price much, much further and stay up in price much, much longer.
And as countries around the world begin to worry about obtaining sufficient supplies of these metals, Menel says far more investment will be needed to ensure energy security. In particular, he says, China has an unhealthily large market share in the production of lithium-ion batteries and in the refining of lithium chemicals for them.
China's been building critical minerals processing capacity over the last 15, 20 years while the rest of the world was sleeping. And as a result of that, they have economies of scale that make them competitive to a point which creates massive challenges for the rest of the world to balance or reduce. That's the one factor.
As the demand for lithium surges, and producers like the Smiths race to increase supply, trading venues like the London Metal Exchange could play an important role in keeping this market running smoothly. The LME traces its history to 1571 and is one of the few exchanges in the world still to rely on the open outcry system of trading between individuals on its floor in the City of London. Chile's huge reserves of lithium have given this country a chance to play a central role in the global energy transition. And the government here in Santiago now needs to make sure that this delivers real economic benefits for the country as a whole. In April 2023, the government of President Gabriel Boric, a left-leaning 37-year-old, announced a new lithium strategy that would bring major changes for the industry. Most notably, all new lithium projects would need to be carried out through a partnership between private sector businesses and a state-owned mining company, a move that was criticized by some as a form of nationalization.
Lo que aspira el gobierno, lo que nosotros aspiramos es que existan asociaciones públicos-privadas en aquellos espacios en donde efectivamente, ya sea Codelco o Enami, tiene pertenencia minera, poder desarrollar algunos salares estratégicos en un espacio público-privado. Pero la verdad que si tú revisas con mucho detalle la estrategia nacional de litio, en ninguna parte vas a encontrar una palabra o una traducción que signifique nacionalizar el litio.
The new plan is a big deal for SQM, whose current lease for lithium extraction expires in 2030.
Today, we are estimating that the demand of lithium is around 930,000 tons. This will be the demand of this year, which is 20% higher than last year. And we are estimating that by 2030, the demand of lithium could reach 3 million tons. In some optimistic scenarios, we even have up to 3.4, 3.5 million tons. So a lot of lithium is needed in the future. That means that we will need supply from every possible origin.
Y hoy en día el mundo está consumiendo mucho. Un celular lo tiene mínimo 2 años y ya quiere cambiar otro. Y eso significa que mientras más renovaciones tengamos, más ventas quiere del litio, por ejemplo. Eso es una clave. Yo creo que tenemos que parar de consumir. El litio no se agota. El litio puede reciclarse. De todo lo que ya se sacó es suficiente y que se aprenda a reciclar y a reutilizar.
Underground deposits are not the only source of lithium. The more the electric vehicle market grows, so in due course does the supply of used car batteries like the ones behind me, which can be crushed and separated into their constituent elements. This facility in southern Norway is the biggest battery recycling plant in Europe. It's the main operation of Hydrovolt, a joint venture between Swedish battery maker Northvolt and Norwegian aluminium producer Norsk Hydro. For several years, thanks to strong government incentives, most new cars sold in Norway have been electric, something that has now started to yield a growing supply of used batteries.
We are located in Norway because this is the most mature market for EV cars in Europe. And we are ensuring that all these batteries are recycled so that the materials inside them can be reintroduced into a circular value chain and become new batteries again and again and again. We can recover with today's technology up to 95% of the critical raw materials. This will be an extremely important source of materials to enable further electrification. We are actually creating an above-ground mine. We are an alternative to traditional mining, and that enables also a closed loop in the local markets because we can establish where these batteries end their life and ensure that we have additional production of critical raw materials in that market. So this will enable Europe to have its own mine in a way because we create an above-ground mine in the home market where we produce critical raw materials to supply the cell manufacturers with what they need to build new batteries.
The obvious reason to be excited about this industry is the sales of EV cars, and we have very good statistics for that, and then you have some uncertainty related to the lifetime of the batteries, but these batteries will need to be recycled sooner or later. So it's quite obvious that the market will come. And then the question is who will become the winners in this market.